Hey babes, welcome back to She Shed Shit Talk, the place where we light candles, pour drinks, and talk the kind of shit that your group chat has on mute. I'm Danny, and today we're cracking open the sparkly, messy, delusional chaos that is modern dating. From ghosting to gaslighting to he or she just is going through a lot right now. Girl, I've seen it all. So, if you're tired of decoding text messages and romanticizing emotional unavailability, you are in the right damn place. So, pull up a seat, grab yourself a drink, and let's get into this shit. But before we get into it, I want to know, how was your weekend? How was the rest of your week since we met last episode? To tell you a little bit about my weekend and my week, I went to the Chris Brown concert at MetLife Stadium for the first time to see this man in person. And let me tell you, it was life changing. Like the best concert I've ever been to. I've been to, Zach Bryan and all that. Love his concerts too. But Chris Brown, that was like euphoric. I literally had the best damn time of my life, shaking my ass, dancing. It was like the best time ever. Let's just say I was a little intoxicated for that, but totally worth it. I remember the whole night. Don't really remember getting home. I wasn't driving, by the way, but it was amazing, and I would love to go to more of his concerts and everything else. Like, it's just, oh my god, if I could do a meet and greet with this man one day, I think I would probably pass out or pass away. Like, oh, this man is just chef's kiss. Like, I love him. Anyways, getting back to our topic of today, let's start with the obvious. Modern dating is a circus, and half of these clowns don't even come with red noses or emotional intelligence. We've all met the guy who says he's not ready for a relationship, but then posts matching Halloween costumes with someone new 2 weeks later, or the soft ghoster, the one who slowly fades but still watches every single story like it's his full time job. And can I also mention the dating profiles or the dating apps that we use nowadays to meet people, or, some people use it to meet the love of their lives or next day's hookup. Um, yeah, when I first made a Hinge profile, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was like, what is this? I feel weird that I'm putting myself out there like this, just posting myself and pretty much advertising myself for someone to date me. And I get it. That's what these dating apps are for. But at the same time, why the fuck are you limiting me? Why do I have to pay to get more matches with somebody? Like, okay, I matched with maybe like four or five people, or I was interested. I swiped right on four or five people, and then it's like, oh, your limit, you're up for the day. Now I have to wait another 24 hours in order for me to go and match with somebody else. And then if I see somebody that I like on the app and I ran out of matches, oh, gotta hope that I swipe on him the next day when I can finally send him a rose or swipe right on the person. Anyways, let me tell you about the time that I started dating after being with someone for 8 years and trying to navigate the single life. I'll break down what I learned, how I ignored the obvious, and what I wish I had done differently. So, to start off, as you've heard in my previous episodes, dating someone for 8 years was, I'm not going to say that I regret it, because I don't. I learned a lot. But having to go back out there and be single again, not only did I start dating this person when I was 19, I was now 27. And I'm like, oh man, now I have to go back out there, learn how to date as an adult. And I'm like, oh, what are these people looking for? Are they looking for marriage? Are they looking for hookups? Are they like, I'm sorry, but some of these men out there, children, okay? Some of these men, charity work. Dating them is charity work. Like, what the fuck? Um, yeah. Anyways, to dive into it a little bit, I made a Hinge profile. I was like, all right, whatever. Swiped on a guy, really cute, or at least I thought he was cute. And I know we all have different tastes in different people, so whatever. I saw what he looked like on his profile. I was like, okay, all right, cute. Yeah, not gonna lie, he kind of looked like the love child between two of my coworkers, and I was like, oh, that's weird. We had a funny nickname for him because, oh, not to mention, when I started dating again, my friends, my coworkers, and like, you know, I consider them my friends too. Um, they were all like, okay, this is new for you. We want your location. This is the first time you're going on a date. Like, they were literally so protective, and I loved it. It was amazing. Um, so, anyways, I told them all about this guy and I showed them pictures. And as soon as I showed them the pictures, they're like, oh, that looks like so and so and someone else had a love child. And I was like, fuck you guys. Now I can't unsee it. We came up with a nickname for him because the two coworkers that he looked like, um, we used both of their names and we ended up calling this guy Wazbowski. And it was really funny. Um, but yeah, so it was time for my date and we were going to a brewery. And so I got ready for my date. I was looking fine as hell. I was like, all right, I'm feeling myself, whatever. We were trying to figure out how we were going to get there. And I didn't want this man picking me up. So I was like, all right, like I'm going to drive there. I'll meet you at the place. Um, and yeah, we'll go from there. So he's like, okay, cool. I walked up to the brewery that we were meeting at and I'm like texting him. I'm like, all right, I'm here waiting for this like really tall, scruffy looking man who I was like, lumberjack, yes. Um, and this this guy walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, you're the girl from Hinge, right?" And I, said my name, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm Danny or Danielle." And I said, "Oh, you're so and so." I'm not going to mention his name on here. Not that I think he listens, but whatever. Um, and he's like, "Yeah, sorry that I don't look like I do in my pictures. I gained some weight." And I was like, "Listen, man, I'm not here to judge you. You know, I'm here to go on this date, have a good time, whatever." Yeah, when I tell you, I wasn't trying to judge him, but this man looked absolutely nothing like he did in his pictures at all, regardless if he gained a little weight or not. Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing like his pictures. He wasn't tall. He lied on his height. I was like, who the fuck is this shrimp? Like, walking up to me. But whatever. I went, I got free beer. I was like, thank you. Thank you for paying. Um, we sat down and as soon as he opened his mouth, he started to get political. And I was like, "Oh fuck no. If this is the first thing you're going to talk about on a date, like absolutely not." Yes, on my Hinge profile, I did have my political party that I, you know, am with, but I was like, "Really? Like this is what you're going to bring up now?" I don't really think this is proper dating etiquette or dating conversation, but sure, go ahead. Um, and then another thing about him was that he told me that the reason he couldn't pick me up for his date was because he ran into the law and had a little trouble with them. And I was like, okay, like what? And he goes, well, he's like, let's just say in order for me to start my car, I need to blow into a breathalyzer. And I was like, oh, oh, you fucked up that bad. Okay. Uh I see you and I'm gonna see my way the fuck out the door because this is not gonna continue. Um and we talked about our families a little bit. Yeah, we got into some deep conversation on our first date. Let's just say that was our only date. Um but yeah, so we ended up finishing our drinks and he's like, "Oh, you want another one?" "No, I'm good. I gotta drive home and I ain't trying to get a fucking Dewey and have to start my car with a breathalyzer like you, man." Okay, so anyways, we leave the brewery. He's like, "Oh, you want to go for a walk?" It is now dark outside. It's nighttime. I'm like, not really. Like, I think I was just gonna head home. But yeah, my dumbass ended up walking around a park with him. And I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this? So I literally texted everybody that I knew and I was like, hey, yeah, just to let you know, I'm walking around a dark ass park. If I don't answer you in like 10 minutes, call the popo, okay? Call the police because I feel unsafe. Anyways, to make a long story short, let's just say I made it back to my car after that stupid walk and I was kind of dumb for doing that, but whatever. I was new to dating again, so cut me some slack. Um but yeah, walked back to my car. He was nice about that. And then when I was trying to get in my car, he kind of tried to do this like, you know, I don't know, cutesy type, trying to show off his whatever muscles he had, and put both of his hands on the car and kind of like pin me up against the car, not in like an aggressive way, but like to kiss me. And he went to lean in, and I was like, no, thank you. I was like, okay, this was a great night. Like, I don't kiss on the first date, but yeah, I will definitely text you. And I got in my car, and let's just say he was a lot better over the phone than he was in person. And I feel like we had more chemistry texting than we did on our actual date. Um, but yeah, so he texted me the next day and he's like, good morning, beautiful. How was your night? I slept great thinking about you, blah, 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 all this BS. And I ghosted the fuck out of him. I did not answer him at all and deleted his number, blocked his number, and I deleted Hinge. I was like, oh, hell no, we are not going to do this again. And yeah, that is my Hinge story. And that was the one and only time that I ever downloaded Hinge. And I never plan on doing that again, mainly because I am getting married. So I do not have to do that. But yeah, that was my Hinge story. And I have other stories about going on dates with people. My next story is this guy, super sweet. We had a lot of mutual friends, and he added me on Facebook. And I think we were Facebook friends for like a little bit, and then he finally messaged me. Honestly, I don't even know how he knew about me, but whatever. I'm not gonna ask questions. Um, Messaged me, and when I tell you, it was the cutest, like smooth message that anyone has ever sent me. I was like, yes. He asked me out for coffee. I was like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go out for coffee. Um, Ended up meeting him at this cute coffee house that we have local. It's called The Witch's Brew, and I absolutely love that place. For anybody who's into like the dark witchy vibe, that is definitely your place. They're cash only, I think. So, if anyone wants to check that place out or even wants to meet up for coffee with me, please let me know because I love that place. And I also haven't been there since this date. And this is dating back to probably August of last year. So a year from today. Well, a year ago from today. So, anyways, I go on this date with this man and we had to make a reservation for this place. And so we wait probably about like 20 or 30 minutes. So he comes and sits in my car and I was like, okay. Um I trusted him cuz he's a state trooper and I was like, yeah, you seem like a very nice, safe man. So he sits in my car and we're talking and he sees that I have a state trooper sticker on my windshield and he goes, where'd you get that? I was like, oh, so long story short, my ex fiance, yeah, his one of his best friends is a state trooper and he gave it to me. Probably because I was bugging him to give me a sticker or like a PBA card ever since he graduated the academy. And he goes, oh, that's so funny. He's like, when did he graduate? I was like, oh, I think he graduated about 2 years ago. He's like, oh my God, so did I. What's his name? I told him his name and he's like, no way. He's like, he was my roommate. They were in the same bunk, I guess, or the same dorm room. And then also they ended up like getting an apartment together upstate because I guess a lot of guys like worked up there. So and they lived on Long Island. So yes, and it's on Long Island. For anybody who says in Long Island, you're wrong. And It's really a pet peeve of mine for people who say in Long Island. Anyways, um, so yeah, he was, you know, um, he was like, "Yeah, I know him." And I was like, "That's awesome, whatever." We go on the date. We're really hitting it off. Like, it was a great first date for me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy. This is amazing." After that, he was like, "So, do you want to end the date here, or do you want to go out to dinner?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you're taking me out for coffee and dinner. Let's do it." We went out to dinner, and we went to this really cute Colombian spot near him. And when I tell you, it was the best food I've ever had in my life. Oh my God, it was delicious. Um, we ended up getting this like meat plate, and it was so good. We shared it. We shared this ginormous ass drink. Um, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to drive home. Like, what am I going to do?" And he's like, "Oh, well, you could stay at my place." And again, I am not used to, kissing on the first date. I'm not used to staying over someone's house on the first date. And I was like, yeah, I have work tomorrow morning. Like, what am I going to do? And he's like, "No, no, no." He's like, "Just come to my place, sleep it off for a little bit, and then I'll wake you up at like, I don't know, 5 in the morning so you could get to work at 7." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." Yeah, let's just say I took many shots after that. Both him and I did. And I had a great time. Like, this was such a great date. Um, but yeah, so after that, I went on a few more dates with him. Um, really, really had a good time. And then all of a sudden, he started to get kind of weird and stopped talking to me. And I was like, "Okay," wasn't answering. I was like, "Listen, I get you have a stressful job. Like, I understand. You're a first responder. I'm a first responder. Like, I know how it is. Yes, obviously your job is a lot more aggressive than mine is, um, and fast paced, and you have a lot to deal with. But also, like, you need to make conversation with somebody. Like, don't leave me on red. Don't text me one day and then not talk to me for like 3 days and then text me again." Also, to my friends who I was constantly texting every single day of like, "Oh my God, does this mean he doesn't like me? Is he ghosting me?" I apologize so much. Like, I am so sorry for doing that. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing back then. But I was trying to navigate the dating scene. But yeah, so pretty much what ended up happening was we decided, we didn't even decide this together. We kind of just ghosted each other. It was really funny. He would text me, I wouldn't answer for days. I'm like, "Fine, you want to play this game? Let's play this game." But also I realized I was getting a little too attached to him, and I think that's probably because he was the first guy that I like really went on dates with after being with someone for so long. And like, he really treated me like nicely, I guess, to be like taken out on dates. And like, I don't know, it was different. And I was just like, "Okay, like, maybe he's the one, maybe." And then one of my friends was like, "Danielle, be so for real right now. Like, are you kidding?" I was like, uh no, like, why isn't he answering me?" But yeah, we ended up ghosting each other, and that's all right. Like, that happens. I really, I enjoyed the time that I had dating people. Also, I'm okay with him ghosting me and me ghosting him, because at the time I was also into somebody else. And oh my God, let me tell you, this other man, chef's kiss, also like attractive. I think he was so handsome. And I was like, "Oh my God, like, I want to go out on a date with him." And we ended up going out on a date, and he was very sweet. It was an okay date. I'll be honest. Hopefully he's not listening to this. I don't think he is, but anyways, yeah, it was an okay date. We kind of didn't really have much to talk about other than work, but yeah, we didn't really vibe too well with that. Did end up sleeping with him too, and yeah, I mean, he had all the right things. It's just, not to get into my personal business right now. I mean, we could have a whole episode on sex, which I'm sure most of you will tune into. But yeah, we ended up sleeping with each other. But let's just say he did not have, and not only him, but let me back up. The men that I had, sexual relations with, which weren't a lot. I just want to I just want to make that clear. It was not a lot. Also, it doesn't matter how many people you sleep with. It's fine. It's your life. Like, I am not one to judge. Do you, boo? Like, get it on. I don't really care. Like, good for you. I hope you get to where you need to be and you get those orgasms, girl. Anyway, um I realized that it wasn't the men that I slept with that was the problem. It was the fact that I just wasn't into them, like men in general or dick. Yeah, and I really hope my bosses aren't listening to this because they do know about my podcast. So put your earmuffs on. And any of my family members who may or may not listen to my podcast, I don't think any of them do because they don't want to hear about this in general. But yeah, he just him and the other guys that I slept with, they just didn't get me to where I needed to be, probably because yeah, I wasn't attracted to them in that way. But yeah, I really hope that my soon to be in-laws aren't listening to this, and I know that they listen to my podcast, so I just want to apologize because I know you don't want this image of your daughter or daughter-in-law, but let's just say I'm a lot happier now. And yeah, we're not going to go into too much detail about what happens in my bedroom. Anyways, let's fast forward now and get to a different part of this episode. Also, I hope you guys are enjoying this because this is going past 20 minutes now, and this is quite a long episode this week, so it's a little treat for you guys. But yeah, now without further ado, let me introduce my bestie since 6th grade and literally the other half of my brain. Like, we have a special guest this week. She is going to tell us some cringy hinge dates that she experienced, and let me tell you, y'all are in for a treat because this girl knows how to tell a story, and I really hope you guys enjoy because she's literally the best person ever. And she yeah, she has many stories, but these are just some of them that she wants to share with you. And yeah, so I'm gonna hand the mic over to her. So here we go.
All right, this is my third attempt at this story because the first attempt I never sent to you. So, let's set it off from the beginning, rather ish quickly. So this guy I've been talking to on and off for about a year. We had met on Hinge. We had pretty good dates in the past. All things were good, you know, conversation, whatever. So we had a date that came up like beginning of the summer when we had the first really bad heat wave in New York. We hadn't seen each other like months prior, so it was like our first date in a while, or a date in a while, and I was like, cool. So he he was like, oh, originally the plan was let's go to the beach after work and like hang there for a little bit. I then went to him like as soon as I got home from work. I was like, that's not happening, homeboy. Like, it's hot as hell outside. Like, I'm really not trying to go and be outside. Like, wherever we're going, it's gonna have to be indoors with some motherfucking AC. Like, I am not dealing with this heat. So he was just like, okay, like, what do you got in mind? And I'm like, I don't know. If there's one thing about me, don't ask me what I got in mind. Just make up. Like, I gave you explicit instructions. It needs to be indoors, and then it needs to be AC. It's hot as balls. Figure it out from there. I'm not going to give you everything. Like, it's messed up, but as a woman, I'm like, I'm not going to give you all the information. You're going to have to also figure it out. You're dating me. Figure it out, right? Anyway. But he keeps asking me, like, over and over on text, like, oh, what do you want to do? What are your, where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? Do you even want to eat? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, sure, yeah, I want to eat. Don't really have a place in mind. Like, just make sure it has AC. So he's just like, okay, fine. Like, I'll pick you up. I'm like, cool. So about an hour or so later, he picks me up. And then I go outside and I meet him. I get in his car. Red flag number one of this date, there's no AC in this car. When I tell you, girl, it was hot as balls. Remember, it's the hottest day of the year. This is when it was like 100 degrees, okay? I'm sweating buckets leaving my goddamn room that had AC, and this motherfucker wants me to go outside in his car where it's like 120. I'm like, okay. Mind you, I get into his car and he's like, oh, so where you want to go? I thought we already explained this. I'm not choosing. So I was like, I really don't know. There's not much around here. Like, I don't really care. So then he was just like, okay, let me look. And he's doing this all over in this hot ass tin can of a flipping car. So he's like, oh, I found a place that's nearby. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, have you been there? I'm like, nope. And he goes, okay, let's go. I'm like, bet. So we go. We get there, whatever, conversation flowing. We get out, we go in the restaurant. I decided to let the conversation, the hot car go. So I was like, you know what, conversation's good. We hadn't caught up in a while. Like, it's been a while since we caught up, like, whatever. We get into the restaurant, all is going well. So then he's just like, we go, we eat, we get our drinks, we get our food, we're catching up. Things are honestly going phenomenal. I was like, oh, really like this guy, whatever. So then, towards the end, the bill comes out. I had never paid a bill in my life when it came to any man that I was dating, but specifically him. So, bill goes to him, and he's like, oh, he goes to the waitress, and he's like, can you remove the gratuity? I want to leave a cash tip. And, like, she didn't really understand him much because she was Hispanic and barely spoke English. And so she leaves. And as she's leaving, he's like telling me like, oh, I don't believe that places should force you to pay gratuity. And I'm like, no, I hear you. I'm like, especially for a party of two, but like, it is what it is. Restaurants do that. And he has this whole sorry. Whatever the fucking word is, he has this whole thing about not wanting to pay gratuity. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, I don't really care. Like, pay it, So she comes back and she goes, card decline. And he goes like, yeah, like, did you take off the gratuity? And she's like, oh, I can't. And he's like, well, that's what I asked for. I left a cash tip. Can you take off gratuity? So she's arguing with her. She's barely understanding. So she goes, give me a second. She leaves and another waitress comes back that's better at speaking English. So she's like, what's the issue? And she's like, your card declined. And he goes, I know. I said, take off the gratuity and I want to leave the cash tip. She goes, we can't. Gratuity is already enforced. And he goes, well, it shouldn't be. Like, I choose the gratuity. Gratuity is like tip. I want to choose the tip that I leave. So take it off. And she's like, hold on. I'll be right back. Anyway, mind you, the bill we have, it's like a $75 bill without gratuity. Plus gratuity, it's like $85. So I'm like, really, it's no big deal. At some point, I was about to be like, bro, I'll pay for it. Like, the fuck? Like, it was pissing me off at this point. Because I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, okay, I am not about to be this people in the fucking restaurant that this guy has a whole issue paying the goddamn gratuity. Like, if you broke, just say so. So anyway, the second waitress leaves and this other guy comes back and he's like, hey, I'm the owner's brother, like, what's going on? And he's like, I told the other two I don't want the gratuity, I want to leave my own cash tip, and that's it. And he goes, well, at this restaurant we keep the gratuity on. And he go, and my date's like, oh, I hear that, but I don't really like that, like, I'd prefer to leave my own cash tip, which I did. Can you remove it? So then the owner's brother goes, oh, let me go speak to my brother, the owner. And so then he leaves again. He comes back, he's like, listen, I spoke to my brother, he says that he can remove the gratuity. He's like, but that's a common practice here in New York, just a heads up, or like here in restaurants, we'll remove the gratuity and whatever. And he goes, okay, cool. So he leaves, come back, he gets his card back, all is happy and pappy. And the entire time when people would leave and we would just have a moment alone, besides me feeling so fucking embarrassed, he was just trying to justify why he doesn't have to pay this gratuity. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get that tipping culture is getting to be too much to the point that there are restaurants that are forcing gratuity on a bill where it's not really necessary. I believe that gratuity should be forced whenever you have a large party because you know that large party may or may not tip you. I get that, But when it's two people, I think it's stupid. But am I going to complain about it and not pay for it? No. But also, like, and cause a whole fucking scene to me. And I'm like, listen, if you're broke, you're broke. We've never had this issue before in the past 10 year dates. So this really felt like, damn, I didn't realize you were this broke. Like, this is fucking stupid. And it's not even that big of a bill. Like, truly, I was about to pay for this motherfucking bill. Whatever. So basically, we leave. After all is said and done, we get to his car. I'm like trying to forget about it. Anyway, he wants to go for a smoke, so we walk around, we're chatting, whatever. He drops me home and he's like, oh, I'll walk you to your door. I'm like, cool. He does that all the time. I knew he was gonna try to come in, and he did. And he was like, hey, can you use the bathroom before I go? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I let him in. He goes to the bathroom, and he comes back out, and basically he's just like, oh, like, I had a great time situation. He's trying to kiss up on me again. It's still the hottest day of the fucking week, okay? At nighttime, it was still like 80 fucking 9. It was hot as balls. I'm still sweating in my goddamn living room because I don't have an AC in here. And so I was just like, yeah. And, he's trying to kiss up on my neck. And I'm like, listen, I got a long day tomorrow. Like, you should probably get going. And he was just like, oh, come on, I can't stay for a little bit. And he's trying to kiss me. And I'm like, listen, I'm hot, sweaty, and disgusting. Like, I really don't. And he's really trying to make the moves. And I'm like, just, yeah. And eventually he leaves unsatisfied, which I'm okay with, because what the actual fuck? Okay, what the actual fuck? You really want to pull that shit with a goddamn gratuity and think you're gonna get in my pants? Are you fucking stupid? Get the fuck off of me, get the fuck away from me kind of situation. That was one of the cringier ones where I was just like, this is disgusting. Like, if you broke, you broke, but don't date me if you're gonna be broke. Not saying I'm expensive, but if you can't pay an $85 bill for dinner, then get the fuck out of here, especially here in New York. Anyway, that's one of them. I guess that's one of many. Okay, another story that I have will have to be, there's this other guy. We met on Hinge. Most of these are going to be Hinge because, like, I haven't used Tinder since high school. Jesus fucking Christ, since college. So this other guy, we had met on Hinge. We had been talking for a little bit. I met him, like, way back when. It's already been a year. I met him way back when. And I had gone over to his place. He had, like, made me dinner, whatever, shot the shit. Cool. So the second date, it had been a while because, like, after we had met, we were supposed to, no, he went to Japan because he had a trip already planned. And when he came back, we were going to hang out again. His whole thing is like, oh, when I come back, let's go see, Deadpool versus Wolverine, because that's when that movie came out. And I was like, yeah, sure. Not honestly thinking anything of it because I didn't think he would want to see it. And or he was going to, not that he didn't want to see it, sorry. I didn't think he'd remember. So I thought nothing of it. I went to go see it anyway with Lauren. So anyway, he comes back and he's like, oh, I want to go see the movie. And I was like, oh, shit, you remember. I was like, I'm going to be real with you. I already saw the movie. And he was just like, oh, we were supposed to see it together. And I was like, oh, like, my bad. Didn't realize you had, like, permanent fucking rights over this goddamn movie or whatever. So we went to go and see it. So anyway, we hung out at a different day. He met me in the city because at this point I already had this new job. So he's like, oh, let's get dinner or something. And I'm like, cool, like, amazing. So he comes to the city and we go to some place. He picked it. Honestly, again, I like it when a man picks because I'm like, amazing. So he picks a restaurant and he goes, meet me here. And I'm like, bet. I go. It's like not that far from my hotel, from my job. So I meet him and, he's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, cool, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. How are you? We hadn't caught up. Like, it's been a while since we had talked to each other because he was in, like, Japan for, like, 2 months. No, sorry, a month. And so he was just like, oh, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. He's like, have you been here? And I'm like, no. He's like, okay, let's go. So we go downstairs. It's like, oh, they've got this amazing whatever. And I'm like, amazing. So we to the restaurant. We sit down. And the way the restaurant is, it's like there's a first level and then there's a downstairs, and that has more space for sitting, and upstairs is more like a to-go kind of situation. So we go downstairs to sit. We get our seat is literally right by the, like, stairs to go back upstairs into the exit, and then there's even more space, like, for other people to sit down, like, it opens up. So at first things are going fine. He's asking about me. I'm telling him, I'm like, so how are you? How are things? How was your trip? And girl, this is when the date gets bad, right? So he's like, oh, the trip was good, whatever. So he starts talking to me about it. He's like, but within the first, like, day or two, like, I had been robbed. And I was like, oh, shit, like, or scammed or whatever. And I was like, oh, shit, like, how the fuck did that happen? So then he proceeds to tell me the story. My issue that I have is that, like, he was black. Actually, most men that I date ended up being black. So he's black. And that's a key for this conversation, because as he's telling this story about him being in Japan, he was saying how he was scammed by these other African-American men who are Japanese or live in Japan, right? But he's explaining them, instead of being like they were black, he just kept saying the N-word, being like, oh, these niggas and blah, blah, blah. And when I'm telling you, A, he's saying out loud, which whatever, you're black, you can say it, cool. But B, he's like screaming it in this goddamn restaurant. Mind you, the restaurant that we are in is this like Korean, like cuisine or Japanese, or not Japanese, like Asian cuisine restaurant. So it's a lot of Asian people in this restaurant. And he's screaming the goddamn N-word like his life depends on it. Telling me this goddamn story. It's to the, and like the music was loud at some point, but you know how in restaurants the music will go really slow and or like it'll stop because it's like transitioning to the next song. It was like in those moments he would remember to say the N-word in the time where it was really quiet, and he was like screaming. And so people were looking at us. I know they were looking at us because I'd look around embarrassed as all hell, and they were staring, and I'm like, I cannot believe I'm associated with this man. But whatever, he's telling his story. I'm cringing the whole fucking time because of he's screaming the N-word, and I'm like, crazy, wow, oh, can't believe it, whatever. Anyway, he finished telling his story about the his trip. I'm like, cool. So after the story is done and after the meal is done, he's like, oh, so what do you want to do next? And I'm like, oh, I don't really know. Like, you know, I'm going to go home kind of. And he was like, want to go see a movie? And I was like, motherfucker. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So he's like, oh, there's a few movies out. I don't even remember all the movies that were out. He's like, there's this, that, and the other thing. And I was just like, oh, like, you know, one of the movies was Joker, the second Joker with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. And he's like, and I was like, oh, I want to see that. And he goes, oh, yeah, cool. He's like, well, the theater nearby, they have tickets for like, let's say 9 p.m. I think at this point it was like 7:30 or something. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And he was like, okay. So he buys the tickets. And he's like, okay, the ticket's been bought. And I was like, fuck. At that moment, I realized it was too late for me to, like, back out of this date. But I was like, whatever. I'm already here. I'm committing. So about, like, 30 minutes later, like, 45, he's like, okay, let's get going. I'm like, bet. He pays the bill. We leave. So we leave and we start walking. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have to lead the way because I have no idea where I'm walking, you know? I may know the city, but I don't really know the city like that. Plus, I didn't know what theater we were going to. So he leads the way to the point that, like, he's way ahead of me. And I'm, like, trailing behind him, trying to catch up. Mind you, a part of the story, I'm wearing jeans, a top, and heels, like one of these really cute booty heels that I had. Favorite fucking shoes of all time. And I've worn them all the time. I've never had an issue with them. But this time, because I'm trying to keep up with this really tall, large man who's walking stupid fast, I'm like having a hard time keeping my feet. Anyway, so as we're walking, yada, 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 you know, we're dodging people and he's leading the way. Don't tell me how, my guy, but I'm walking. My foot decides to go one way. My entire body decides to go the other way. Girl, I hit the ground on my knee, like literally bash my knee like on the ground, like, and I stopped myself. But here's the worst part. I not only stopped myself from like really tumbling, but as I hit the ground and I'm trying to catch myself, one of my hand goes into a deep puddle of New York City rainwater. Okay, because I think it had rained either earlier that day or the day before. I don't fucking know, but there was a big ass puddle. My hand goes all up in it. I'm like, oh, disgusting, fucking kill me now. And I'm on the ground. This is like a second cringe part that happened on top of, besides the restaurant. As I'm on the ground, I hear people around me go, ooh, damn, she hit the ground. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, in my head. This man that I'm on a date with doesn't do anything. Girl, he stares at me while I'm on the ground and just goes, you good? Now, I know you did not just ask me that motherfucking question. So I'm like, yep. And I had to get myself up. He literally doesn't even help me get up. He doesn't even do anything, just kind of stares at me. I like pop myself up as quickly as possible. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. It's all good. Like, just a bit embarrassing for me. And he's like, yeah, it kind of was. And I was like, shut the fuck. Like, literally at this point, I'm like, oh, excuse me, right? So whatever. My knees hurting like a bitch. I'm embarrassed as fuck. I'm half wet because my hand hit New York City rainwater, disgusting ass water. And so we're still walking because I'm like, I need to keep going because if I keep staying here, I will start hysterically crying because of like the embarrassment. So we keep going to the movie theater. And we get to the movies, right? Whatever. We get to the theater, we get to our seats, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna be right back, I gotta use the bathroom. And I'm like, hey, cool. So he leaves. At the moment that he leaves, I decided to like pull up my jeans to see how my knee was because it was hurting so bad and it felt like it was bleeding. It wasn't. It was scraped, but it wasn't bleeding, like gushing blood. So I'm like, amazing, that fucking hurt. So whatever. He comes back. We're sitting. We're just seeing the trailers. This man, I kid you not, proceeds to have me sitting in such an uncomfortable way for the remainder of the time that I'm there. And I mean, basically, like, the seats weren't those seats that you can lift up the middle and sit comfortably because they're like those couch seats. It was like the individualized seats that the old movie theaters used to have. He had me basically like leaning over the middle leaned up against him with his arm around my shoulder. It was to the point that my back was in so much pain because of the way that I was sitting that like I tried to maneuver myself to leave and I was like, my back hurts. You know what this man did? Grabbed me and pulled me back to him again after I said my back hurts. I couldn't like whatever, the entire fucking movie. So after the movie's done, he was like, this movie was actually pretty good. And I'm like, this movie sucked. I actually did not like the movie at all. So whatever, that was my second thing. That at this point, like, I was so done and over with this man after I done fell, and also after the many times that he said nigga in a fucking restaurant that's full of Asian people. So we leave. And at that point, he's like, oh, so what do you want to do now? I'm like, I want to go home. That's what I want to do now. I'm like, I want to go home. So he's like, okay, cool. Which way do you have to go? And I'm like, looking at the directions. I'm like, oh, I have to hop on this train and then this train. And he's like, oh, awesome. I have to hop on this train at 2. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So we walk to the train. We get there. We get on the train. And, like, we're standing. I don't know why I didn't sit. I can't remember if there was seats or no seats. But we're standing. And I'm like, ugh, I'm like, kill me now at this point. I'm like, I just want to be left the fuck alone. So anyway, he's just like, oh, I have to get off at this stop. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't get off until this stop, which was after his. And he's like, okay. And so, we're kind of chit-chatting or whatever. Not really. At this point, I'm done. I'm over it. And his stop comes up and he's like, okay, like, I'll see you again. And I'm like, yeah, sure. He then goes, leans in for a kiss. When I tell you, I was so disgusted that he had to kiss me because I was so pissed off from this date. I was like, ugh, I was like, I really didn't want to be associated with you, but okay. So then, he kissed me and leaves, and I'm like, bye. And then I just go home and I proceed to just literally say, like, what the fuck did I do? Why did I deserve this? I have not spoken or seen that man since, because I was like, never the fuck again. How the fuck you gonna let me hit the ground, fall, and not catch me or help me up, and literally just ask if you good? The fuck? And on top of that, don't you know fucking etiquette when it comes to telling a story? Like, that was unnecessary. I don't care whether or not you're allowed to use the N-word. Shut the fuck up when you're saying it in public. Either be cautious or whatever, but like, don't be screaming in like some sort of fucking hoodlum. When I tell you, piss me clean the fuck off. Anyway, that's my other story. Thanks for listening.
So, if you're in the dating trenches right now or freshly blocked someone who just wasn't ready, pour one out for your growth, sis. The bar is on the floor and we're stepping over it. Remember, dating is supposed to be fun. Stop auditioning for people who don't even deserve to be in your audience. Navigating the single life and the dating scene, like, it ain't for the weak, let me tell you. I feel like they don't make people the way they used to. Men, no. Women, I don't really know. I don't have experience with that because I only dated one woman in my life and I'm marrying her. So, um, yeah, I think that we need to have fun with this dating. We need to put ourselves out there, but also we need to be in control. Like, do not let these men or women or whoever you date step over you and take your shine away from you. You need to be in control of this. And if you're not comfortable with something or someone, you tell them straight up, I ain't comfortable with this. We're not doing this. Oh, hell no. You got to choose what you're going to do for the date, what we're doing. You asked me out on a date, you have to plan the date. Like, I'm not doing the work for you. Like my girl said, like, that's red flag right there. If they can't plan a date. Anyways, next week we're diving into friendship breakups because, sometimes your day ones become your done one. Like, it sucks to say, but sometimes you just grow out of friendships. And whether it's because y'all had a fight or just for no reason or something stupid, like, it happens and it sucks, but that's a part of growing up. And as we navigate through adult life and these big changes in our lives come, I do realize and I notice that friendships don't last. And the true people in your life, those are your true friends, the ones who stick by you through the hardest times of your life and the happiest times of your life, and the ones who support you through every single step of the way. Those are your true friends. But anyways, don't forget to follow, rate, and DM me your worst dating stories because I would love to hear them. And we can have a segment on another episode about it too, and we could share some more stories. I absolutely loved today's episode, and I hope you did too. And until then, stay hot, stay unbothered, and talk your shit. Thanks for coming to my shed talk. Good night, y'all.